Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to SP Reviews, where today I have the pleasure of reviewing the latest EP from an act named VxT. I think it's due out on the 30th of September. Well, no, it's October now. I forget that it's October. So it was out on the 30th of September, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'll check that out in post. We're going to listen through each of these 4 tracks here from the Transition album. We'll switch over to here. You know, we've got it on the screen. Show you ordinary life, lie in life this way. We're going to listen through each of these tracks from start till finish. I want to hear what we think. Let's go. Starting with, Show You.
Voices in my head are thoughts that I don't say.
I love this production immediately.
Show you who I am.
Great repeaters on the vocals there. Fantastic sub-bass resonance. Or bass resonance.
But if you wanna peek inside my head, let me show you. Said let me show you.
Kind of sounds like there's a bit of filtering on those drums as well, which kind of allows the vocals to stand out more.
Let me show you instead. Sometimes
Ooh, those drums came in at the right time and they sound so fresh, man. Great choice to include them there. Gradual development, pristine, man. It's interesting. We're talking about, wondering if we can trust ourselves, anyone again, we're real friends and everything like that. It does sound like we are inside that person's head. And the thoughts of the echoes of the lyrics are the ones, reverberating around the skull, unable to really leave him until he finds a conclusion.
All of these emotions I have, I don't know what to do with them, so I suppress them and then I move on like it's nothing. I forget that you're gone.
Doesn't sound healthy, man.
I don't wanna hurt no more. I swear I've been here before. So I call the other girl and tell her that she's so fine. Tell her that I need her, but it's only for the night. That I don't get.
We've got the sameness with the musical theme, we've got variation with some of the drum parts and the cymbal bits and everything like that. We've got a similar chord progression throughout, and I don't actually mind that too much. If there's a journey with the vocals, it's usually okay,
Pills, but they help me to sleep. And I know that you try and we derail behind the wheel. No, I cannot commit to it, I gotta keep it real. Now I don't wanna do the deal, I just wanna feel something real for once in a while.
Great automation there on the violin with the drums.
I keep on wasting my time and maybe it's alright, but I would never let you know, baby. When you left me, I went so crazy. And let me show you voices in my head. Thoughts that I don't say.
And that little siren kind of sound going over the top, usually it'd be kind of distressing and if it was by itself, but in the context of the rest of the song, it just sounds like a really pretty track. Damn, the production's solid on the CP, man. Great choice of instruments and synths and stuff.
I'm not proud of it. This is who I am. This is who I am.
I'd don't know how much modulation there is on the vocals. I think it sounds for the most part pretty pure, you know. It's just those reverbs are absolutely exquisite. You know, I maintain that even though the music industry is a bit screwed at the moment with the way the musicians have their careers and everything like that, we live in the best timeline in terms of like the ability to sort of record, mix and master and produce music. Like the opportunities we have to do all these things with our computers and digital audio workstations and plugins and little MIDI toys and USB stuff. It's just sensational. You know, I'm glad things have opened up just to the point like where we're able to do this. And I think generally the music is just, it's a contentious topic because some people will say that because more people have gotten access, then like, I don't know if I'm even going to keep this in the review. They're like with the reviews I do on a daily basis, the overall quality I think has gone up in part because of the access people have to be able to make music, to the stuff that allows them to make music stuff like this, you know. The VxT's taking full advantage of it. His vocals are sick. The story's compelling. The tones are absolutely wonderful and the production is tight. Ordinary Life. Oh, and Show You, I think, was basically just about talking about what was going on in VxT's head. Regret about someone having lost, you know, dealing with his own personal demons and stuff like that. Yeah, Ordinary Life. Interesting kind of futuristic little synths here. They're kind of funky, kind of sophisticated.
No, I don't wanna get out of my bed. Don't wanna deal with pain inside my head. 'Cause no one can hurt me out here. Would I love to be with you instead? Or maybe I just wish that you was dead. 'Cause if I can't have you, no one can.
The tone of those drums in the bass, that 80s kind of bow, bow, bow. You know, there's a certain time and place for a synth like that, a bass like that, and we've found it, man. It's so fresh sounding. I love it when people put forward sounds that I haven't really heard before. That surprised me, you know? Chorus time. Is that like, is there an additional vocal take in the center field or something like that? Are we doubling it or something like that for a bit more presence? A little bit of modulation there, like a metatune or something like that.
Said I'm done with it. I just want a chance, I'ma run with it. Call it what you want, but I ain't done quitting. I just wanted something changed, yeah. So maybe I'll just change myself. Now I ain't even asking for your help. But if you wanna interfere anyway, except this time you cannot have it your way.
That melodic rapping is nice. There's a nice shift from the clean vocals we had in Show You and the hook of Ordinary Life. It shows us the variety, his flexibility as a performer, and I dig
Ask me how
that.
you doing, said I'm already fine. Lost in my ways, but I know I'm a fine. Can't call it quits if I don't give a try. I give myself a year and I'll make it right. But even if I don't, at least I won't regret that I-
You know, that repetition of that melody there, and that sort of phrasing, yeah, I dig it.
But if you wanna know why I
Nice work changing up on the tail, though.
ask me and I'll say, no, I don't wanna deal with this ordinary life. This ordinary life.
Oh, nice having the overdubs on the crashes.
This ordinary life. This ordinary life. I wish that sometimes the world burns itself.
Oh, please more of this.
This is how it ends. But anyone in their right mind can tell. This is just how I hide my pain. No, I don't wanna deal with this ordinary life.
Yeah, I suppose we're having to sort of come, you know, forward from what we had going on and Show You, where we're kind of coming down to earth and realizing the situation we're in.
Don't wanna wake
And
up again to this ordinary life.
We do miss the person we used to be with. We're also struggling to cope with them ever being with someone else. Gotta head out of the clouds, you know? Back down to earth. I mean that in a kind way though. I don't mean as if like to say that people struggling just should try harder to be more sort of like realistic. What I mean is that like if you're going through stuff, you're constantly in your head, right? So it's nice that we're transitioning from that state. Cute little synth strings there with those bass and lots of the release on some of those comps, those compressors is slow, but it helps to sort of get them to interlink together, and it's beautiful, man. It's a really great track, Ordinary Life. It sounds like a single to me, but Lie, track number 3. Oh, those reverse takes are fun. I wonder where we're going next. Oh, tension, drama. Oh, that sub bass weighs a ton, man.
Cause I always find a way to fuck it up. Then to question if I'm just not good enough. Maybe it's different this time. Let's just make it alright.
We're using some chromatics with that harmony there, all that those vocal melodies, because I'm digging that semitonal jive, man. I like it when we mess with expectations. Ah, smart move. Smart move here. Good. This is what I dig. I was expecting us to go back into a whole chorus, but I think we understood that that would have been too little. We needed to elevate it to the next level and completely dropping that groove. Hey, smart move there, VxT. Oh, I get it. I see what we're doing here. I understand it. So now I think we've realized that we are away from what was tying us down before, or what was getting us back, holding us back, or maybe how we feel that it's holding us back. And we are slowly reaching out for a better future. Or at least in their head, yeah. Oh. You know I've been lying, you know I've been trying. Damn, man. So even though we don't want that person, we've been saying, that's rough. Saying that they hate, that's brutal, man. You know, should this be about an actual relationship that was going on? This is not for me to judge, but relationships to people do crazy things, man. You think of someone as the world, and then the next minute or the next month or the next year, you're like at their throats, and it's horrendous, man. But I think we wouldn't have half the music that we have today without relationships at the same time, you know? It's the one thing that all of us can sort of relate on, and so there's a lot of music about it. Phenomenal. There's like, I don't know what they're doing with those kicks down the bottom, how they're filtering them, so the warm, warm, warm. But there's careful attention to detail, and also just that drum groove in this song with the dun 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 dun, like the way it goes backwards and forwards and kind of pitter and patters across the stereo field. It's like really high level stuff, man. Really high level.
I am not a weak man, but what can I say? No, it gets hard, but I'm never afraid. You know you all can sit back and relate. want to escape. Imagine tomorrow as something beautiful. Sunshine and no problem, it's a miracle. Smoke a little something, it gets musical. I live life to the fullest, not stuck inside of a cubicle. I always have my music.
All right.
Get critical. You can call it my medicine, or like get lyrical. But I love painting visuals that can touch every soul, every.
So maybe it could also be them like leaving their job or something like that, you know what I mean? Removing themselves from that sort of toxic environment, getting away from it, you know. That'd be a nice twist. Not taking it too literal, you know? Too literally.
So I just gotta say it twice. I don't lie, I don't lie. Anyone except myself.
Oh.
I don't lie, I don't lie.
We kind of see ethereal, sort of like spooky kind of wah, wah, which again is it's not something I'm used to working in a track, you know, like by itself. Again, I think context is so important. If you use, you know, certain instruments, they might sound wacky, but if you can compare them with something where there's like a connection, or they seg together, or they form a niche together, you know, where maybe only they match, it can be something really special. And I think VxT's got a great knowledge of how to find those tones. Oh, those toms and how they panned in the stereo field in the extreme. Oh, that was an intense left and right sort of situation we had there. Life This Way. Track number 4. Ooh. Kind of a weird modulated choir sound, some of those high mid-high bits.
I just wanna make things right. No, don't waste my time. I escape from the sidewalks. Tell myself, oh, why do I talk? Oh, I wish it wasn't past this day. No, I don't wanna live my life this way. Is it past my
Good job.
prime? Is it past?
It's nice to have the more sort of rappy vocals come in when there's less of a misty sound to it. It gives more clarity to the mix and allows you to hear it more. How this, you know.
If so, I just give up and fucking die. But I wake up every day and everything around me is changing. It's been 9 years since nothing was the same, so I do what I can, just give it a try and burn my consciousness in the fire, desiring the glimpse of her eyes. Can't wait to isolate and get higher, so I don't get no more surprises. Living the fear of crisis, let's talk about things that I miss. For anything that I'm alike, yeah, but I still have to check the price. I don't wanna live my life this way. I'd give up anything it takes.
Are we doing like a different takes for the vocals there, or are we using a plugin to sort of harmonize them with that lower range and octave down?
I just wanna make things right. No, don't waste my time.
I'm wondering if we are going an octave down. It's an interesting way of, you know, doing a chorus.
Tell myself, oh, why do I talk? Oh, I wish it wasn't past this day. No, I don't wanna live my life this way.
Again, like, it's nice to just have that space there. I don't want to live my life this way. I dig the fact that we're coming to the conclusion, show your ordinary life. Kind of wondering what it'd be like to get away from that hustle and bustle, saying how we've been talking about something and realize that the passion for that maybe is a lie or something like that. And life this way. You know, we realize that we never want to go back to that.
With clouds up above, then throwing it out here, feeling I'm alone. With basics, man, I'm just trying to set the tone for a life with no love and a path, no goals. For a past sabotage, man, I'm tired of living this life with no hopes. It's not like I'm lacking the true conviction just to make it out. But how do I feel in this emptiness? These words where I talk about the deepest connections and deepest regrets. The fact that I settled, now done with this pain. No point reminiscing, there's nothing to gain. Got 99 problems, this one ain't the same. Cause life's been the same for real. And I just wanna change it for real. Too many times I'm broken for real. I'm too numb, don't know how to feel. No reason why I'm still afraid of falling.
Oh, I like that. A dun-dun-dun. A change in the kick groove. That's spicy, man.
Still trying to find my space. Ask myself, is it okay not to be okay? I don't wanna live my life this way. I'd give up anything it takes. I just wanna make things right. No, don't waste my time.
Because there's like sad rap. You know, this is the kind of, I'm not saying like intrinsically this is negative messaging or anything like that. I like the fact that someone's being brave enough to go through this transition. But there's a lot of the kind of rap where it's kind of sad kind of rap nowadays. And that's been a thing that's probably been the biggest change for me in hip hop and rap, is that we're becoming way more sort of comfortable at expressing vulnerability, and we don't feel the need to like kind of, how do I say this? Protect ourselves all the time, put on a face, a facade, etc. I like when people are more open with it as long as it is genuine, you know.
I escape from the sidewalks. Tell myself no matter what I talk. Oh, I wish it wasn't past this day. No, I don't wanna live my life this way.
Is that like really intense vocal modulation, or is that like a vocoded guitar or something? That tone on that drums though, and those kind of wah wah wah, you know, those kind of choir kind of oomphy kind of pads. Ooh. Oh, interesting panning. Well, that's so unusual. I'm not sure if I like the fact it's going all the way on that side or not. But this is my conclusion of Transition, which is the latest EP from VxT. What do I think this EP is about? I think this EP is about someone who is making a change in their life, and they've realized that they cannot live the same way they did before. You know, there were several ways I could have interpreted this. Now, obviously, there's a straightforward one where we're talking about I don't need you, I don't love you, I hate you, or something like that. And we're talking about a thing. Often the assumption could be like it's a relationship or a person or something like that. But when he mentioned the cubicle, it did also make me think that he was talking about a job he had or something like that, where he needed to go away from that. And he needed to really just find a new direction to go in. And I think a lot of people are going to be able to relate to this primarily because of the ambiguity, but also because I think a lot of people are maybe in situations now where they feel stuck. And I know for me personally, I was in a place where I felt like I was stuck for a really long time, and I'm still kind of getting myself out of there. But if VxT has managed to make this transition, and this EP is about the journey from the start to the end of it, I'm really proud of them for doing that. I think it's a really big decision to make. And if you have the strength, the courage, the intelligence, and the creativity and the drive to get through that, then you ought to be congratulated for it, you know. There's no reason why we shouldn't try to improve our own lives when it's possible, even if it's hard to do so. So I think that that's a great EP. It's almost inspirational, you know. Well, it is inspirational. It's just, I did feel like there was a lot of sadness in here as well, though. I felt bad for VxT, you know, the vocal performance as well. Even with the rapping parts, but especially with the clean parts, even with the modulation, the pretty little harmonies and melodies and modulator effects and the reverb change and delays and stuff like that, or even more so because of that, it sounded incredibly sad throughout, as if we were really struggling to cope with the situation at hand. And I just wanted to give the dude a hug, man. It sounds like a tough time, but that came through in the performance, and I think that makes it a very effective performance, because you could not have told this story any other way. You know, you could have sounded happy talking about how sad you were, but that to me would have been thoroughly disingenuous. And although I've gotten into actual arguments with musicians when they've done that about it, because I'm not here to make people feel better about their music when I disagree with it, you know, within reason, of course. I listen to this and I just think, I think he's being really honest, genuine, authentic about his experience. And I think that it was an authentic EP, and it was the tone matched the story, his melodies and harmonies and ideas and stuff, and the various backing tracks, backing harmonies put in there as well on the sides, and the repeaters and the rap parts as well, with the flow there, with the repetition, da 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 da. You know, that kind of, it's common in a lot of modern rap and hip hop to have that kind of triplet flow, like dun 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 dun. You know, that's fine. It's good. I don't mind it at all. It makes sense within the genre. It's totally fine. I think that he handled all these facets well. I'm happy with his vocal performance. The motifs of each of these tracks had a similar kind of coloration and texture to them. We didn't have radically different instrumental sort of arrangements or anything like that. We had even Life This Way, where maybe we'd moved away from the intensity of Show You with the extreme vulnerability, talking about how we felt about ourselves, about the other people, where we were going, that we were obviously not happy about it. It's also like, yeah, wow, no, I really don't want to go back to that. And I still feel like VxT, from the sounds of the motif alone, is doing some healing still. And that will take time. That will take time, but I firmly believe that they'll get there if they have the emotional intelligence to produce and release an EP like this. Each of the tracks was about 3 minutes 30 to 4 minutes, which are great lengths for tracks and EPs. They're not too long. I think a lot of listeners will be able to relate, appreciate the vocal performance, and listen through the entirety of it, the way that it's structured with the verse and choruses and stuff like that. I don't think we needed more here. I think there were even some fun parts, like with the vocal modulation at the end there, with like the extreme distortion, or it sounded more like a guitar, or like even an alternative synth lead or something like that. And the automation and the panning of instruments and stuff like that, going backwards and forwards. But I think the star of the show as well, to be fair, is stuff like the production and the tone, the choice of tones for those basses and synth pads and synth leads and stuff. I think we took our time finding the best possible types of those, and I have nothing but love for what's been done in regards to those. I think that when I listen to songs like this in 2022, I want to hear that creativity, that freshness with those instruments, because it's not like I haven't heard some of those melodies before, those chord progressions, or those melodic themes for the most part. I've heard them before, but your only choice is to make them sound new, different, or compelling, and there needs to be a connection to everything else, of course. And I just need everyone to be this, put this much effort into their instrumental choice, their actual tone choice for these tracks. I think that dude, it was great. I want to listen to more from VxT, because I like the sounds he makes with the instruments and the sounds that he chooses. And I think that even if we had one main motif for each of the tracks, that was all we needed, because that was so sort of like engaging and interesting to listen to. The production, the recording, mixing, and mastering of these tracks, when you already have the right tones in the arrangement, the vocals are done well, and the story is compelling and the structure is tight. Now, a lot of it comes down to, especially with hip hop and rap and that kind of music, it's how do I say this? It's like you need obviously the vocals to be recorded well, which was the case. The vocal production was stellar. Lots of interesting different effects added, like sort of the reverb change, compression, vocal modulation, the automation of the vocals, and panning in the mix. And that went as well for like the drums, because we didn't just have drums. We had drums with little cymbal hits all over the place, nice filtering of the different toms and stuff to go wider in the mix and such. It wasn't just having static stuff. There was constant movement from the instruments there and the vocals, and there was never any sleeping on it. There was no filler within any of these tracks, apart because of the strength of the production expertise shown there, the attention to detail, making sure that if there was something that was a little bit naked, we kind of fill it in if need be, and it never was distracting at the same time. You could always focus on the vocals whilst everything else was going on. I think that when I listen to what's going on with the automation of the panning was done well, and the notching of the different instruments in the frequency spectrum was great too. The actual leveling of the instruments and the vocals was great. Everything was nice and present. Nothing overlapped one another. And then the limiting compression were absolutely stunning. It was nice and loud without any sort of weird sort of like pumping or anything like that. And then all in all, this is just a professionally released, commercially. It sounds like it was, when I say commercial, I mean like it was commercial quality, as in like it was really well produced. It's very good. VxT will transition the EP. This is my review of it. I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy that VxT's told us their journey through their music, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe. Please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands Out.